All right, it's official. We are live. We made it. It's Monday night. Joe, how are you doing, sir?
I am fantastic, Ryan. Again, thank you for joining another episode of Technical Defects. I'm Joe. That's Ryan. Our special guest this evening is the one, the only Richie Knucklez, actor, producer, musician, writer, and gamer. How you doing, Richie?
Great.
You've had a busy couple of weekends, brother. So for those of I don't even know who wouldn't know who you are right now out there. King of Arcades, great documentary. Kong Off. Why don't we go right into that? Kong Off last weekend. Let us know what happened.
So it was out in Banning, California, which is not too far out of LA. It's called the Museum of Pinball. Has thousands. I don't even know the exact number. Maybe 2,000 pinball machines, 1,000 arcade games. Insane collection. I sent out a bunch of my machines. So I think it was 12 to 14 of mine. He already had 10, and then we bought another 12 from the one up in Denver. So we had 30-something machines, and I spent a week early, went through all of them, made the best 23 that I could come up with. Then the fire marshal came in and said, that's too many Donkey Kongs on one wall. You're blocking fire exits. We had to take another 6 off the floor because of the fire marshal. So, but it was still good. We had enough to make the competitors happy.
That is a ridiculous amount of Donkey Kong machines.
Yeah, and we're not selling. Well, I sold. We're not selling any more. I sold a few. I sell them for $3,000. They're Kong Off Edition ones.
Right.
Other than the 4 that I sold, we're not selling any more. They're just going to stay there so that from now on, when the Kong Off comes up, I don't have to go crazy doing any work. Just get out there.
Here's a question. You say they're Kong Off Edition. Is there anything in particular, other than the fact that, you know, they were used for the Kong Off, is there anything that makes them different from other machines?
Custom artwork all the way around, the custom marquee, custom side art, custom control panel. Also, a tag on the back that says the serial number, what one it was used in, who played on it, the whole 9 with a certificate of authenticity.
That's nice. We know a lot of people that are retro gamers. We have a good, strong crowd with the retro gamers and whatnot. I also do a lot of people at arcades, man. It's absolutely nuts, the rabid fan base of retro gaming that's out there.
I've been doing this for a long time now. Let's see, I'm going to be 50 in July, and I started when I was 19. I remember the days of going into a warehouse and having a guy just say $50 any game, and there being 200 games. So now, and in that mix would be Trons and Tappers and games like that you can't get. Robotrons would be in there, part of the $50 mix. Now, fast forward to today, I sold my Robotron for $3,000, and I'm kicking myself. I sold my Star Wars copy with a 25-inch ampliphone for $7,000. I'm kicking myself. I wish I didn't. I want it back.
Oh, man, I used to go to, I'm 38 now. I used to go to parties in college years, so that was like, 20 years ago, let's say. And even 20 years ago, it was amazing to me to walk into this one house we always partied at. He had this huge arcade cabinet there. I was like, wait, I've only seen these as a kid. You can own these? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I always did the arcades and things of that nature. And he had a pristine Tron game. Everybody else is back there partying, and I'm just on Tron. Oh, wait, can I have another beer? Oh, yeah, I'm still playing Tron. All right, cool. Yeah. How did you get started in with all this? What's your earliest memories of turning you into, like, this fanatic for retro gaming?
Two different phases. First phase is as a kid, I was bowling in a bowling league, and they rolled the Space Invaders and a Monaco GP. And forgive me if my memory's not perfect, but it was either an Atari Football or a Battle Zone or a Starhawk. One of those 3. That's like the game. I'm not sure if it came the second phase, but definitely Monaco GP and Space Invaders. I was 12, 13.
Nice.
And filled it into the bowling alley while we were bowling. And all of us were just, taking the ball and just being like, what is that going on back there? Bar. As soon as the game was over, I think I bowled like a 70. My dad was pissed. He's like, Now, what are you doing?
That was league play too, wasn't it?
Say that again?
I said that was probably league play too, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were in a league. Absolutely. Yeah, we were pretty good. And I just tanked the game just so I could get over there and find out what the hell was going on at the bar. So went up there and started playing Monaco. And out of all my friends, I was the first person to ever, get all 9999 on Monaco. So I had no idea there was a place to send your scores to. I didn't know what Twin Galaxies was until the King of Kong, like everybody else did. And I was really good at Space Invaders. I would always roll Space Invaders and just get it up to all 9s and then walk away. And that was the end of it. Grew up, got into a punk band, punk/metalish style. It's kind of hard to say what we are. And we went on tour. As we were on tour, I was at every bar in the country. I saw what worked and what didn't work, and I took notes, and I said, when I get back with the money I made, I'm going to open my own bar and have it have live music as well as a bar. And I had owned, just by collecting, I owned like 5 to 10 arcade games in my basement at the condo I owned at the time. And I said, I'm going to stock up on arcade games. I'm just going to start putting them in this barcade thing. And this is back in 2002. So there wasn't a barcade out in 2002. And we bought the building. It was $2 million, but it wasn't just me. It was me and 3 other guys. One guy backed out, so then it was me and 2 other guys. And within 3 months of owning the building, bringing the pool tables in, bringing the jukebox in, the building went underwater. We had a flood.
Wow.
2 stories underwater. The 3rd floor had water come up above the floor, maybe that much.
Wow.
Wrecked everything we had. Luckily, I didn't bring my arcade games in yet. I brought in pool tables and my ping pong and crap like that, air hockey. They all got ruined, but didn't bring any of the arcade games in yet, luckily. So shortly after that, I came up with a plan to just launch an arcade solo by myself. But I couldn't afford a liquor license by myself, especially after that huge, devastating blow of buying the building and then having to sell it for a loss.
Wow.
After the band broke up, we went on tour again a second time, and we broke up in the middle of the tour. Came home with our tails between our legs, and within a year, I re-switched gears. Because when I was in my band years, we had a whatever Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the first one, whatever system that was in our tour bus.
Okay.
I didn't touch it once. I didn't even touch the controller, not even once. I drove the van and organized the tour. I never played it once. I heard it in the background and knew, what's that song? Millen Collin, No Cigar, that song. That song stuck in my head because of them playing Pro Skater behind me, So once we got back is when I got back into the arcade scene again, and just, again, the music went this way and I went that way, and here I am, more famous for arcade world than ever being in a band, which kind of hurts.
It shouldn't. That's usually how things end up working out. It's never what you think it's going to be. That's for damn sure. Never what you think it's going to be. But
God sits up there and laughs.
He's a bastard sometimes. What can I say?
Is the band totally done now?
What's that?
Is the band totally done now? Are you guys back together again?
The band's totally done. I tried to put together a new version for that movie Man vs. Snake. They asked me to write a song called Man vs. Snake, and I put a band together shortly for that. But despite recording that and maybe 6 other songs in the studio, played maybe a dozen shows, it just wasn't the same. The band that you saw, King of Arcades, was just a ragtag bunch of my friends we put together. That wasn't the original lineup. They kind of made it seem like it was going to be the original lineup. In fact, I'm very embarrassed of the footage that is in the movie because we were just not good. But there was like a 15-year break in between that show and the last time we had played. So yeah, that's not something I'm proud of.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do about that? I mean, but yeah, speaking of that, this all everything kind of led to you making a documentary that basically documented the rise of the barcade and things like that.
Now, remember, I try to tell as many people this as I can. I had nothing to do with that documentary.
Okay.
That documentary was just, I was the subject.
Oh.
That's it.
Okay.
I couldn't, the guy wouldn't let me edit. The guy wouldn't let me put input. He wanted to do it his way. Very controlling, but great guy. And I was just a subject. He came to the Kong Off 1, saw what was going on, and walked up to me and said, I'll give you X amount of dollars to be the subject of this, and just let me record everything you're doing. Your story's got to be told. Let me just follow you around, and whatever we get on film, I'm sure it's going to be interesting. Because really, every day was interesting. Just that day that he approached me, just that day, it was the Saturday of the Kong Off 1. My ex-wife and I were having a lot of problems, and an ex-girlfriend showed up at the Kong Off 1. My ex-wife found her giving me a back rub in the barbershop next door because I had a bad headache. I get these migraines, like I was telling you. She caught her giving me a back rub, and we had a huge blowout, all right? Billy Mitchell was standing there watching. In fact, Billy jumped over and started rubbing my neck and to kind of push the girl away so that it would be Billy rubbing my neck, but it was too late. Billy tried to try to dive under the bus for me.
He jumped on that grenade, man.
Yeah, he jumped on that grenade, jumped on the bullet for me. And when I got home, my ex-wife was still saying the D word, about getting divorced and throwing that word around like crazy. I had a cat, and now I'm not a cat person at all, but my family wanted a cat. So we got this cat, and I wound up, isn't it though always the way when you don't like cats, the cat seems to like you the best?
Yes.
So this cat loved me, and of course, it turned me into a cat person, and I love this cat back. I got home, I was so flustered and frustrated and just drained, totally drained. The cat walks up to me at my front door. My ex-wife will even on Facebook verify that I'm not exaggerating. That cat walked up to me, laid on my feet, looked up at me, said goodbye, and died on my feet, right across my feet, waiting for me to die. So that night, out in the rain, crying, digging a hole. It was raining that night. Digging a hole in the backyard for, his name was Lightning. Digging a hole for Lightning, crying, upset. My ex-wife inside crying, my kids crying. Burying this cat like a movie, in the rain outside the night of Kong Off. Next morning, I get in on Sunday, and I say to, I don't know, whoever I said it to. I think it might have been Billy or Steve Sanders, somebody. And I said, because Walter was in India. A lot of people don't know this. Walter could not make it to the Kong Off 1. He was doing Panchakarma in India. Someone was able to reach Walter Day in India. Walter called me on the telephone and gave me a pep talk and said, Richie, you can do this. You got it. That whole you got this bullshit. How do you know if I got this? You don't know if I got this. You're not in India. So he gave me the whole you got this thing. And it was a really good pep talk. And basically what he had said in a nutshell was, you and I don't do this for money. We do this for the love of our hobby and what we do. I think also selfishly we do it so that we can put our own dent in American pop culture. Walter says, I'm always trying to put a positive dent in American pop culture. And he said, Richie, you're doing just that along with me. In fact, I believe you to be my successor. That's what he says to me on the telephone. From it on Kong Off 1. So
wow.
So
that's awesome.
I was able to pull it together, get the event over. Mike Vaca and George Lutz and a few other guys put together the King of Arcades plaque for me. Gave me the plaque, and of course, like a wuss I am, I cried at that too. Ever since Faith was born, I cry at everything. I'm crying now.
I'm close after that cat story.
Yeah, right. I mean, but Richie, you're such a high energy guy. I'm assuming it's from the music and everything being in the industry. How did you first get introduced to the Twin Galaxy scene?
Oh, just like I had no idea Twin Galaxies was even an entity until they called me for the Today Show. The arcade had been open for about a year, I'd say, maybe a little bit less. Again, all this can be fact-checked and dated. It's still out there on YouTube. The Today Show called me and said, we need someone to provide a bunch of Donkey Kongs and Millipede, and I think it was Miss Pac-Man for the Today Show. Now, the Today Show in New York City, you know, that's the shit. You know, there's none bigger. So they said that they needed me to bring in these games, and I would get to meet the stars of the King of Kong and Twin Galaxies. And I was like, yeah? Like, no, this is what you need to tell me right there. How much am I getting? And long story short, I wound up doing it for a fair price, and I wound up meeting Billy. And Billy was there to promote the King of Kong, his 4 quarters. He had a book, and we had never met before. I didn't know Bill Mitchell before this day. And he had Walter's book. It was a hardcover. And he hands it to me. Well, sorry. He signs it, hands it to this guy, Abner Ashman, who I had no idea who this dude was, tells him to sign the book. Abner signs it on the cover. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. Hands it and goes, you owe me $50. Here's my address. I don't want that in book, you know. I don't know what this is. And he basically bullied me into buying this $50 hardcover book with Abner Ashman signing the cover, who I know idea who he was. Still to this day, I don't have any idea who he is, other than he's good at Robotron. And
well, you know, at least there's that.
Yeah, I sent the mail off to Walter, and Walter and I just struck up a friendship.
That's awesome. Ryan, why don't you do me a favor and pull up the picture of the cards?
We can absolutely do that. Yeah, what's the story behind this one here? You're not going to be able to, unfortunately, Richie is unable to see our screen. We've got the Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh, yeah.
Mock-ups.
Sean Tiedemann, the man I was talking about that was the brainchild behind the King of Arcades, the guy who came to me and said, this needs to be documented. He had some commitment with the Garbage Pail Kids, original artists, and they were doing a movie called, I think it was 30 Years of Garbage, I want to say. X amount of years of garbage, and it was all about the Garbage Pail Kids. So he was working on that movie simultaneously as to working on the King of Arcades. So I guess he got one of the original artists, you know, guys from the 80s, to draw up a mock of me, Billy, and Walter. And I don't think it looks a thing like me. I never liked it from the beginning. But I got to meet Joe Simcoe, who drew it, and he did another one of me and Steve Wiebe, with Steve Wiebe on my shoulders. And that one, after the event, was awesome. So that's when I bought into the whole Garbage Pail, blah, 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 for the movie, which I was like, okay, yeah, you know, I had no decision. They just asked me my opinion, and I didn't like it from the get-go. But I did like the one with Steve Wiebe on my shoulders. That one was fantastic. And then he did a third one of Faithy on my shoulders. So Faithy has a Garbage Pail Kid card of her on my shoulders. So that is what sold me, and I'm like, I love Joe Simcoe, I love Garbage Pail Kids, let's run with it.
Yeah, you can't pass up that opportunity at that point.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think it looks a damn thing like me, and whenever people see it, they have no idea it's me. Like, well, who is this dude that looks like half monkey, half dude, you know?
We actually have it pulled up right now on screen. But I'm glad you mentioned your daughter, actually, because I was looking at pictures and stuff that was going on in Kong Off 6, and she was there playing right next to Billy Mitchell.
Oh, my God. She's so good at Donkey Kong. She can just get up to the third elevators on her luckiest game. She'll get up to the third elevators. Still hasn't mastered it. I'm working on the super jump for her, you know, the super jump to get her to bypass the whole bottom.
Right.
Just get that. And the third elevator, she still can't. I don't even think she's completed it once yet, but she's trying. And I'm trying to teach her what spring to go on, what one to retreat on. Once she gets past the third elevator, she's going to be in, you know, upper echelon of Donkey Kong players for girls. And she's also in that movie, the No Princess in a Castle. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
No.
NoPrincessCastle.com, by the same people who made, well, loosely, it was started by the people that made Video Craze. Did you ever hear the Video Craze?
Yes.
Okay. It was started by the people who did the Video Craze, and it's been picked up by Natalie Rossetti, who's finishing the film. And it's all about women gamers, women who get paid to play, say, I can never remember, but like Guitar Hero, Super Smash Brothers.
Major League Gaming.
Yeah, but like the shootings, what's that? Call of Duty, yeah, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And the teams, the ones that they have teams on.
Yeah.
And forgive me for being so ignorant to that world, which I have no idea. Minecraft. That's the only thing I know is Minecraft.
Really. You know what? I'll tell you, I'm a gamer.
Like,
Joe's more of a retro gamer. I go all across the board, but I always find myself going back to the. I want to say simplistic, but they're not simplistic. They're hard games. They're harder than anything that's out there now.
I know exactly what you mean.
And
complex, but simple and fun.
Right. Exactly. What are your we all know, let me put it this way. What are your top 5 go-to games? When you sit there and go, I want to play a game, what one do you always at least, what are the top 5 that you always at least throw in one of?
Donkey Kong now, of course.
Right.
Because I just hit my first kill screen. What happened was I went to Australia for the Kong Off Australia. Excuse me. I went to the Kong Off and they allowed me to play, to actually compete, because I didn't organize it. I just hosted it, like emceed it. So I got to compete. And I wound up putting close to 500,000 up, which got me in the top 8. So that made me be like, you know what? This is fun. I'm going to start playing this game again. So I came home. Took me about a month. And I got a kill screen on Donkey Kong. Low, nothing to talk about. Like 880,000 something. Not even, I wouldn't even have made the top 8 in the our Kong Off here. But made me very happy. So I've been playing that because now I want to at least break 1 million on that. Pole position. You guys probably know I have the best pole position score ever recorded.
Yep.
The ones that are from the 80s were all word of mouth, which I'm sure they're true. Don't go taking this out of context. Just saying, no proof. There's no proof. I have on video. It's on YouTube. It's even up on YouTube.
But did you use an emulator? Sorry, I had to. I said, did you use an emulator? Sorry, I had to.
I still can't hear you.
I said, did you use an emulator?
You're breaking up.
Oh, okay.
Okay, no, gotcha.
I'm diffusing your joke, buddy. You don't even know my sense of humor.
I'm sorry. Well, no, it was really.
I totally wrecked your joke, right?
Yeah, you really did. But no, actually, it was really cool. One thing I wanted to bring up. One thing I wanted to bring up at the Kong Off was the big ass sticker that said "not an emulator." That was like the best friggin' thing I saw. That was just awesome.
Again, even though right now it's a little bit serious because Bill's family is being affected now. People have been calling up his wife's work, and Bill's wife, she was a principal, or is a principal at a private school in Florida. I don't know the name, but somehow these trolls found out and have been calling her, harassing her, making a problem for her at work. Now she's the principal. His kids go to different colleges. They found out what colleges his kids go. They're calling the coach of his kids' football team. They're calling activities that his daughter's in and messing with him. So it's affecting his family. So
that is absolutely just insane.
So at this point, I'm taking it personal.
Absolutely.
I was being facetious, just so you know.
No.
I'm a fan of you guys.
I totally understand. I was prepared for that. If you remember when you started, you said, "Is there anything off limits?" And I said, "There's nothing off limits. Go for it." I was prepared for that to be snuck in, so that's why I was prepared with the rebuttal.
and again, I wasn't really trying.
Break it up again.
Hey,
Ryan, you just have to do the rest of the interview. I'm going to keep breaking up.
He turns the camera off. He's like, all right, I'm out of here. So you're saying each day is pretty interesting, man. Tell me. Give me a typical day in your life.
Well, that changes from day to day. I did have an awesome warehouse, 10,000 square foot warehouse, where I housed all my stuff under one roof for the first time. That lasted for 2 years. It was fantastic. I was getting the deal of a lifetime. Someone came in and offered 3 times the price that I could afford to pay, so I got asked to leave. The last 3 months, 2 months. Actually, he gave me 3 weeks. So I wound up taking close to 8 weeks to get out.
Wow.
And I moved all my stuff, half of it to California. The guy who owns Arcade Expo, the Pinball Museum of Pinball, took truckloads out to California to hold for me. I didn't sell it, still mine. We plan on having Faithy go to college in California, and I help him out there eventually. But we left back about 80 to 100 games here, and opening a new arcade currently right now in Sterling, New Jersey. Give me about a month.
Did we lose you, Ryan?
No, I'm still here. I'm sorry.
Okay, you were frozen.
Let it go. Let it go. What?
What?
Oh, what was that?
So wait a minute. He added something else to his resume recently, Richie. So Old School Gamer magazine. What's going on, man?
Oh, that's why I was in Connecticut. Ryan Berger, just very similar to Sean Tiedemann at the Kong-Off 1. Ryan Berger showed up to an event I was at and was like, "Oh my God, what's going on here needs to be documented," you know? But instead of on video, he wants to document it in print. Make a magazine out of it. I think, again, I don't want to say things that are incorrect, but I believe he's already a seasoned publisher with a DJ magazine. So he knows the business. He knows what he's doing. So he's a really good candidate because he loves retro gaming so much. He already knows how to run a magazine, like hard copy magazine, not just online magazine, hard copy magazine. And he asked me to contribute. First thing he asked me to do was come up with a column because I'm always traveling. Like, you know, I was in Australia, and within a month I'm in California, and then I'm in Connecticut. Every weekend I try to go somewhere else and just, you know, spread the love. And he asked me to do a column called On Tour with Richie Knucklez in the Old School Gamer magazine. I was supposed to write him an article for what had happened in my experience at Australia, but the whole boom time. So I wasn't able to actually follow through on my promise. I wrote him a small article, but he wanted something bigger. So I said, as soon as things slow down for me, I'll be able to write that. Well, this weekend, Ryan and I really bonded, and I think I'm going to take on a much bigger role at the magazine than what we initially thought.
Nice.
Anything you can tell us, or is it kind of one of those things that hasn't been announced yet?
It hasn't been announced, but basically just a bigger role, like meaning like he's the official magazine of the Kong-Off. Maybe the official magazine of Richie Knucklez. Who knows?
I gotcha.
That kind of stuff, you know?
Right on. Now, are you, other than the column, are you going to be doing any other writing for them as well? Or you got anything in the pipeline right now as far as upcoming stories coming up? Or
Yeah, well, I got really, really lucky. A bunch of guys that run ZapCon in Arizona, or ZapCon, they were at the Kong-Off, and they asked me if I'd go to ZapCon, and I said I would love to go to ZapCon. It's just right now money is a severe issue. I don't have money to go everywhere, and they said just, you know, shouldn't talk money out in public, but they just basically said, we'll get you there. We want you there. So a bunch of them together said, even if we have to kick in out of our own pockets, we want you at ZapCon. So I'm like, woo! I'm going to Arizona for ZapCon. A guy named Gary Carnouche is doing in June. It's called CORGS, Columbus, Ohio Retro Gaming Society. I think I got that right. And I'll be out in Ohio for that. So basically... I may have to pay you a visit for that one. I'm about 2 hours away. Well, we're going to have to go out and get a beer.
Or 3.
Or 4.
Yeah. See what happens.
Or a 6-pack.
Yeah, we'll definitely touch base on that one. What's the dates on the Columbus event again?
I believe off the top of my head June 1st and 2nd.
Okay. Right on.
Again, on my Facebook page, it's if you guys do Facebook, it's Richie Knucklez with a Z, no T in the Richie, and I'm going to advertise all the events I'm going to, so I have to start a calendar because I have a couple shows I'm taking Faith to on the weekend. I'm taking her to a private standing room only Cheap Trick concert soon, and and then taking her to a Journey concert shortly after that. So I got to make sure that the educating my daughter in classic rock and arcade doesn't overlap.
You know, it's funny. I think you just found your way into Joe's heart with the classic rock on that one.
Yeah. I love that's what I love.
See,
Faith loves Abbey Road by the Beatles. She loves Cheap Trick, anything by Cheap Trick. She loves all the old school stuff. Yeah.
See, that's definitely in Joe's wheelhouse. I'm more the guy that would be reading the DJ magazine you were talking about earlier.
You see, I'm the classic rock hairband kind of guy. Definitely classic rock. We actually had Mark Slaughter from Slaughter on the show not too long ago. He was a really cool guy also.
One more time, who'd you have?
Mark Slaughter, the lead singer of Slaughter.
Yeah. Somewhere, if you dig deep in the in my Facebook photos, you'll find me and Tammy Lane from Faster Pussycat.
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
You'll find a picture of me. He actually managed our band for like 2 months.
No shit.
Yeah. When we moved out to LA for a short while, and he put together a short tour of all of California for us. Tammy Downs. Sorry, I was thinking Jamie Lane was from a different band.
Janie Lane's from Warren.
And Tammy Down. If you look, there's a picture in there somewhere. I look really young, and he's like all Marilyn Manson'd out. He was in Faster Pussycat.
That's awesome. All right, I'm geeking out right now. So
yeah, Joe's got permagrin going on over there. So what do you got? What do you got going on in the coming up here other than the cons? What's in the pipeline for you, sir?
Oh, enough. The new arcade being opened. That's what we're working on now. I have all the games just stacked in there. 80 games just pushed into the corner. We've got to start spreading them out, going through them all, get them all working.
Where's the location going to be?
Sterling, New Jersey.
Okay.
And it's about 40 minutes, maybe half an hour outside of Manhattan, and a half an hour from where my old arcade was, towards New York City. The only thing that is really, really good, well, I shouldn't say the only thing, there's tons of things that are really good, but a few bullet points that are really good is it's in walking distance from the train station. So anybody in New York City, Jersey City, anywhere can take a train, get off, and walk 30 seconds to my arcade. So the train part is really good. Number two, it's right across the street from the middle school. So,
hey, there you go. Location.
yeah, I'm excited.
You know, for the first time in my life now, I have some other guests I'm supposed to go visit out in Jersey. And for the first time in my life, I actually have like a tour of Jersey I could schedule to check all this shit out.
Yeah, buddy.
I never thought I'd say those words in my life. I lived in Philly for a while, and even then I didn't go over to Jersey.
That's funny because we're the exact bipolar opposites. I live in New Jersey, and I would refuse to go to Philadelphia.
Exactly. I'd be like, where do I go shopping? And they're like, go to Delaware. I'm like, who the hell goes to Delaware to go shopping? Sorry, Joe.
Yeah. We're good.
See if I can play with it.
I lost my train of thought, Ryan.
See, here's the best part about Joe. Here's what he didn't tell you. He is being a major trooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked like a car with the windows rolled up. I'm a fan of those.
I'm just wondering if a security guard is going to come and get me because I'm in the mall.
But yeah, Joe is actually, he wanted to be here. He made it a point to be here. This man is so Sudafeded up. He's on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, Ryan, you're actually starting to look good, man.
Ooh, hey, buddy.
Yeah, majorly sick and some kind of abscess tooth at the same time. So between, drugs, alcohol, just a...
He's a mess right now. It's awesome.
Oh, no.
So, Richie, we're actually going to be wrapping it up here in a moment. What would you like to promote out there, my man? What do you want to tell people to check you out? We've been talking throughout, but is there anything you want to make a point of and tell people to check out?
Yeah, for the next couple months, to keep me alive and keep money rolling in, I have the website, which is thekongoff.com right now. We're going to add richieknucklez.com to that. The theme of the website right now is the Kongoff 6. It's going to be changed more to an e-commerce site. I have tons of merchandise. I have T-shirts. I have belt buckles. I have marquees. I have side art. I have posters. I have trinkets, tchotchkes, all arcade-related things that are going to be for sale on the website. I'm hoping my e-commerce site will provide enough income for me so that I could spend the next 2 months not getting paid, but organizing the new arcade and getting the new arcade open.
Right.
I have enough savings to pay my rent, and that's basically it. So on top of that, like living expenses, raising my 3 stepkids and my 1 daughter. So I'm going to need everybody out there to reach deep into their pockets, go on RichieKnucklez.com, Kongoff.com, and buy something. I don't care if it's overpriced. Buy it.
All right, well, coming from arcade guys and gamers, now, Ryan and I are pretty big guys. So you got to make sure when it comes to like shirts, you got to have the XL sizes, man.
Well,
double XL, triple XL.
Right now, I think I only have double XL and triple XL and everything. Right now, everything else is sold out.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well, I wear size fat, so we'll figure it out. But you'll notice later on when you if you check this out, I've got a box I made for a marquee for Star Wars. What kind of marquees are you guys doing up there? Are they different games? Are they your personal ones?
It's only Donkey Kong or Nintendo size right now because it's on-off marquees. Right now I don't sell any copyrighted stuff other than Nintendo because we have a deal with Nintendo, so I'm allowed to do the Kong-off marquees without getting in any trouble.
Oh, cool.
A lot of the other marquees are different sizes. Like Pac-Mans are much wider, much taller. At some point, because I do have a printer that I use, at some point we're going to do reproduction marquees of all the games. But for right now, it's only for if you have a Nintendo cabinet or, like you said, a light box that you want the Kong off. Right now, we're up to 7 different marquees for the Kong off, all right? All different themes. So I'm making a poster that has them all. So Kong off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip Australia, then 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip to Australia, then 6, all on a poster. So you could, and it'll be a lighted poster on that translate material, so you could put into a lighted poster box. And that's the first poster we're going to be selling. And I can't see those things not going like hotcakes.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. This is coming from a guy that likes geeky shit like that, so it works out beautifully.
I also have one other poster I came up with that I've never seen anybody else do. Tell me if you like this poster. And anybody that has a game room is going to want this poster. I took Paperboy and went into MAME and opened up so that I could see all the sprites, like even the backs of the houses on Paperboy that you don't see while you're playing the game.
Right.
And just took a screenshot, pieced it together. So it's the Paperboy video game map. Then I took all characters and I put them all over the place, like the guys from Double Dragon fighting in the street.
Oh, nice.
The guy from track and field running across the street and jumping over a hurdle. But in a window of a house, I'm not going to tell you where I'm putting it on this one, but tucked in the window is Qbert looking out the window. And the theme is...
I was just going to say, you better have Qbert on there.
Yeah, but the theme is, instead of Where's Waldo or Where's Wallace, it's Where's Qbert.
Nice.
And you got to find him on this huge poster.
That's right. You know what? Nostalgia gets me in the feels every time. So.
And when is that going to be available?
Hopefully in the next week, I'm going to start launching. I have them all done. I just got to get them printed and then posted on the website.
And what was that website again?
RichieKnucklez.com, thekongoff.com, and RichieKnucklez.games as well. All those will go to the same place.
All right. Are you a tweeter or an Instagrammer?
I must start Instagramming because I see the younger generation is all into the Instagram. I believe I have an account on both. When I was still married, my ex-wife mirrored my Facebook, so everything I do on Facebook goes out on Twitter. But if you look on my iPhone, I don't have Twitter on my iPhone. I don't even know how to use it. I've never opened the app once. I really need to get better at that. And, as well as Instagram, because a lot of the people I met this weekend up in Connecticut, when I asked them if they wanted to match up on Facebook, they all said Instagram, Twitter.
I'll tell you right now, I'm going to give you a little tip, and this is for anybody out there. It's a paid app. It's a paid subscription app, Hootsuite. It will make your life so much easier. You can schedule tweets and posts, and you don't even have to deal with it. Hootsuite is the shit.
So
is that sort of like woof.com?
No, this is it'll handle all your social media. You can schedule everything right on there.
Wolf.com is out of that TV show The Office when Ryan came up with a joke, the way to link everything together.
I tried so hard to get into The Office. Joe got it. I didn't. I tried The Office. I couldn't do it. And when they made the Muppets like The Office, I about kicked my foot through the damn TV.
Yeah, I think I would have done that too. I'm not a Muppet fan, but The Office is so good. You got to watch it. I swear that show is so funny. You got to bear through until you get to the good stuff.
See, I'm on a Rick and Morty kick lately.
I have a Rick and Morty patch on my jacket.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Rick and Morty fan. Let me tell you that. All right, so we are going to get on out of here. Richie, I want to thank you for joining us, man.
Absolutely. And if you ever have anything you want to plug or come and hang out, just let us know. We'd be more than happy to have you on.
I met a girl in California I'd like to plug. How do we go about it?
Let me put my Facebook creepers on. I'll see what I can do.
I don't have that kind of money.
I know people.
All right, my friends.
You have a great one, sir.
I still have a 2-hour ride back to New Jersey.
Oh, fair enough. Well, thank you again. It has been a pleasure, and hope to speak to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you. I'm watching you.
Nice.